Well, here we are. It is Monday. Hi, everybody. Hope you're doing well. The slog of summer continues. July 25th, 2022. This is the Slate. We are a DraftKings show. If we just popped up on your screen, we are on Twitter via DK Nation, the Twitter stream, which used to be called Periscope. I guess it's just called the Twitter stream now. Never found out what the name was. But anyway, that's where we are. We're also on the DraftKings YouTube and Twitch pages. Your host today, Brendan Glasheen, and Jeff Ulrich alongside. We'll get to some golf later on in the program, but we just had like a little pre-pro show meeting, which when we hop in the Zoom, we're kind of getting all fired up about stuff, and we're looking at depth charts, and we're reading tweets, and there's a lot to unpack. It's not necessarily, it all connects to contract extensions or depth chart analysis. It all relates to stuff that we think might happen on the field. And if stuff off the field is a bad look for a team, how it may affect a team or a player for this upcoming season. So a lot to unpack in the next 30, 35 minutes. We will take your questions if you have them in the chats on Twitch and YouTube. And not only your questions, but if you have takes for this upcoming season. It is that time of year. It's list season. It's hot take season. It's due for a big leap season. Trevor Lawrence is already talking about that with the Jaguars. I'm sure Emerson will have thoughts on that later this week. But we're going to start Jimmy G, which the Jimmy G story is probably the lead story in the league with Deshaun Watson, of course, off the field. But where Jimmy Garoppolo ends up, we have odds from the DraftKings Sportsbook listed now. Seahawks, your favorite. Jeff, what is your latest thought process on the Jimmy Garoppolo sweepstakes?
Just on how it's going to affect or where he's going to go, or
yeah.
The only thing I really care about Jimmy G is I think for betting purposes, how it's going to affect Trey Lance and the 49ers. I think Jimmy G, Garoppolo leaving, I don't know if it's going to have any effect on the San Francisco odds, really. It may even drop them down a bit. I don't know. I don't think it's going to necessarily launch them into co-favorites to win the division or something like that. It could, but I don't really know why it would. If anything, you're losing QB depth, right? So I'm not expecting a ton of movement there. I think it could affect Trey Lance's MVP odds, which we've talked about before. He's at 50-1, still at 50-1. Again, in my mind, easily the best, just pure value. I'm not saying he's going to win. He's 50-1, but if you're looking for a long shot, that is the guy. If you're looking for someone above 25-1, that is most likely the guy I'm hitting up or telling you to hit up. I'm telling you to hit up because I've hit it up. I think it's a good number. I really do. I think that he'll certainly have some. Oh dear God. Glash is frozen. I don't know if I've frozen. Oh, did we just lose Glash? I think I'm still here. Anyways, we'll see if we get Glash back in. But yeah, talking on Jimmy on Trey Lance. Okay, I'm still here. Talking on Trey Lance, the 50-1 was available and still is available. To me, still the best long shot odds on the board. So looks like we're okay. Yeah, I'm still live. Glash isn't live. So I don't have. Oh, we're gonna get Glasheen back in. Maybe we will. Here it comes.
Hey,
it's okay.
Sorry about that.
The Trey Lance.
Sorry about that.
Too hot.
Internet, little.
Internet will do that.
Yeah, you're Sorry, Jeff. I heard you. I heard the gist of it pretty much. What I wanted to clarify was, and I need to share my screen again. So sorry about that. Yeah, it just this work from home thing. I've had enough of it. Get me back into the studio. That's a call out to the rest of the people that make decisions. I will take the train inside and do this. I've had enough. Anyway, rant over. Trey Lance technically is no longer a rookie, correct? Is it service time related? He can't win Rookie of the Year, right?
I'm almost positive he can't. Yeah, just because he was on the active roster or something like that. Yeah, no, he can't. Glash is gone again. Okay. Anyways, well, hopefully you can figure that out. So we got here we go. We got the graphic up for.
Sorry, I'm still my internet is still on state.
Yeah, you're hit and miss here, coming and going. Anyways, we got the odds up for the division. This is where Glash was going. Yeah, like who gets Jimmy Garoppolo? That's really what he was getting at with this. Seattle Seahawks now are the favorites at plus 275. And like, to me, when this whole thing about Garoppolo came about and people were talking about it and people were like, oh, well, they're not going to trade him to Seattle. They don't want to trade him in the division. I mean, yeah, if he was like a really high-end quality prospect and he had like some elite tendencies, yeah, of course not going to trade him in division, but that's not what Jimmy Garoppolo is. Jimmy Garoppolo is like fine, he's serviceable, but like, do you really care if Jimmy Garoppolo is in your quarterback? Is Jimmy Garoppolo a top 12 quarterback in the league? That's what you need to ask yourself. If the answer is no, then why would you care about trading him in the division? Of course you can trade him in the division. He's like a below average or like at best average quarterback. So yeah, let the other team have him. I think Seattle is absolutely the favorite here. Houston is sneaky. They've kind of come into this late. They weren't really interested in the sweepstakes to begin with, but now they're obviously like they're into it. They're into it. Like they seem to be kind of like getting on board here, and it makes sense with Houston. I mean, Davis Mills, like he looked okay and he's got some potential. I kind of liked him as a late pick last year, but like, I mean, if you're Houston and you kind of just want to, you've got some room and you want to foster a competitive team, why not take on Jimmy Garoppolo? Kind of like the Lions did with Goff last year. So I don't think that the Giants, I know they were rumored to be interested in Garoppolo for a bit. I'm not taking the Giants. I think if you're going to go down deeper and take like a real shot with one of these long shot teams, maybe think about the Saints. That's probably not going to happen, but I would really think that like it's Seattle or Houston at this point. I just can't really make scenarios. Like Atlanta already has Mariota. They have their Garoppolo and they drafted a QB. Why are they even on the board? The Saints, I think Garoppolo actually would be okay fit for them, but they also have Dalton. Like they've kind of made their beds. So Cleveland seems to be out. Deshaun Watson may not be getting suspended for that long. They seem okay with Brissett. They're like a run first team anyways. I don't know. I don't even know why Miami's on that graphic. I mean, to be honest. So to me, like, I think Tampa would kind of be where it's at. And I don't know. I feel like Tom Brady would just nix any Jimmy Garoppolo trade. So it's probably Houston or Seattle. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really know how this one's going to get worked out. I think we'll just wake up one morning and it'll just be one of those two teams. If you're telling me like which one I had to bet, I would just take Houston because they have the longer odds. And I think that San Francisco probably, if like the deals are the same, they'd probably just trade them out of division just because, I don't know, just because teams worry about stuff like that. So anyways, that's where we're at with the Garoppolo news. I'm not expecting a Garoppolo trade to like, change a lot of odds. These are crappy teams we're talking about. And even if he got traded to like the Bucks, that's not going to change anything. I mean, Brady's still starting. I guess if he went to the Saints or something, you could maybe like the Saints odds would go down a bit, but I really Saints, I think it would be a good fit for them, but I don't think it's going to happen. So Garoppolo to me actually has the most meaning for San Francisco. It just means the Trey Lance odds for MVP likely to go down. So that's where we're at. Okay. I don't know if Clash is coming back on, so I'm going to try and get the DraftKings Sportsbook up on my screen so we can talk about golf odds. Now it doesn't want to work for me. This is just insane. Okay. You know what? We're just going to have to talk about the odds here on our own. How does the DraftKings Sportsbook not want to get up for me? Come on now. All right. Well, that's loading. Well, let's just talk about the tournament, I guess. That's fine. Yeah. If you could get it up on the screen real quick, Pike, get up the odds. That'd be awesome. Okay. Let's just go right into the tournament this week. Detroit Rocket Mortgage Classic. Last week, Tony Finau coming in as the winner. I mean, winning as a plus 1,100 favorite. It was a nice story. I love Tony Finau. We could be getting the summer of Tony Finau coming. I think there's a very good chance that you'll see Finau back this up with potentially a win in the playoffs, potentially even a win this week. I mean, you're looking at courses and how they correlate. I mean, there's some difference. There's not as much water on the Detroit golf course or anything like that, but it's also another venue where you can take a ton of drivers. You can smash driver around, the guys with the who have been big off the tee, Matt Wolff, Bryson DeChambeau, they've had a ton of success at this venue and at this course. So I kind of feel like Finau could come in here and just be like, hey, I'm playing better. Who cares if Cantlay's here? I'm the best player in this field outside of like two guys. Maybe I'll just pick up another win. So that's kind of where I'm at with this tournament. I wouldn't be shocked if Finau did it. It doesn't mean I'm betting him, but Finau's a guy you just probably want to keep your eye on here going into the playoffs. I would not be shocked if he ended up shipping. So yeah, it looks like the DraftKings Sportsbook also undergoing some problems. So we've got problems all over the place, but you know what? Let's go. Let's just keep talking about the tournament. Who cares? We go down in the betting odds this week. I like starting in the +3, in a slightly bigger range. I mean, Cantlay, Finau, all these guys are fine. I'm not going to be betting Will Zalatoris. I think of the top 5 players, Homa, Young, Zalatoris, Finau, Cantlay, they're all kind of like plus 2,500 or lower. I would potentially be looking at Cameron Young. I just think that the setup, guy who's so long off the tee, we're talking like Bryson Long, and then he's very similar to Bryson, that he's a very good spike putter as well. Can gain you 5 strokes putting, which has really been the MO of the winners of this event. We've had guys like Cam Davis, gain like 3 strokes. Bryson gained like 7 strokes putting and just smashed it off the tee, gained like 5-6 strokes off the tee. Cameron Young could do something similar. So I think all those 5 guys that I mentioned, they're very live. And will it shock me if like Finau wins again or Cantlay comes in and win? Absolutely not. But for betting purposes, it's going to be Cam Young for me. It looks like we got Glash back at least. We'll see what we can do with the sports book here in a sec. But Glasheen's back out. I just moved over to golf because, that's what I talk about.
Well, because you're really good at like ranting about that single-handedly. Maybe the sports book's down because everyone heard your Trey Lance take and everyone's just hammering Trey Lance plus 5,000 to win MVP of the league.
I don't know. Everything went down at once, so maybe it's like a Boston issue here. But
possibly. But just to give the folks a sense at home, I mean, we had a whole conversation like 10 minutes before the show went live. And of course, that's what happens now in this world we live in on Zoom, is everything just goes to absolute hell once you go live on the air.
Yeah, I know. No, Everything was working perfectly. We were pumped about NFL. Before we keep talking about the golf though, like, was there anything else NFL, like odds wise that we were going to talk about or anything like that? We went over some props this morning,
Touchdown props. Yep.
Some of them for quarterbacks and some of them for running backs and stuff like that. What's you're a guy who's a little bit in tune with some local news. Like, what's your take on the Patriots running back situation this year? Like, think it's going to be a closer split with Damian Harris? Because his touchdown prop is 8.5. He scored just an insane amount of touchdowns last year. But
if you remember last offseason, because I remember we did some shows in the month of August, right before the season really got going. We may have even touched on this at the beginning of September, I'm pretty sure this was you were pretty high on this, to bet Damian Harris to have the most touchdowns of anyone, most rushing touchdowns of anyone in the league. And I think it was at 25-1. Yeah. And I feel like you're kind of getting at the similar argument, like who else is going to take away from him out of that backfield?
Well, no. See, my argument is actually, I loved Harris last year because he had a rookie quarterback.
Yep.
He only had rookies behind him. And you're right. I was pretty bullish on Harris. I actually hit him up like as a potential like rushing leader. He didn't quite have the efficiency. But this year, when he's going into it, he's got Mac Jones, second-year quarterback. He's got Ramondre Stevens, second-year running back. I think those guys are going to eat into his red zone usage. I think they're going to throw a little bit more in the red zone. They got Parker in too. They still got 2 tight ends. I think asking a running back to score at a touchdown rate, per game rate is insane. And I know he doesn't need to do that to go over 8.5, but like, it's also a running back who gets injured. I still like Damian Harris a lot. He's really good, but I'm not taking the over on that touchdown prop this year. I think there's more factors working against him now. He's also a running back, like I said.
Well, what do you mean, Jeff? I mean, Joe Judge on 3rd and 8 will hand it off to him. It's perfect for Damian Harris. If anything, he will get called upon in situations you'll never even expect. 3rd and 8 from their own 15. Let's hand it off, and we'll do a jet sweep with Damian.
Is Joe Judge back with the Patriots?
Yes, Joe Judge and Matt Patricia.
But they're not running. They're not running the offense and defense, are they? They're not like the OCs.
No, okay. Belichick did not name an offensive coordinator or a defensive coordinator.
Oh, that's right. He never does that, does he?
Not lately. He hasn't.
No. McDaniels
yes,
was like the last
back.
guy. That's right.
I
knew Joe Judge was back. I knew Patricia was back. Sorry.
Patricia remains a special assistant. He's in one of those special roles, but also helping out with the offensive line.
Yeah, isn't Patricia doing like more offense stuff?
Both of them. Yes.
I mean, it's
Josh McDaniels out, and they've welcomed in 2 head coaches that got let go from their other jobs for very, very much a lack of production.
It's weird with those 2 guys. Like Patricia's defense I got nothing on Patricia. I don't have anything to defend that guy. Belichick likes him. That's it. That's pretty much where you stand with Patricia if you're a Boston Patriots as Boston sports fan. That's why he's there.
You were mid-take, and I wasn't laughing at you. I was just laughing that DraftKings, not only now when the site is down, they have a new message for people, which I think is a good thing. I mean, in all seriousness, in big, bold, white letters, it says, "We're doing load management." Even the greats need rest. Our products are on the cutting edge, sharp enough to carve your face in Mount Rushmore. To keep it that way, we've temporarily taken things down for maintenance. When we come back, we'll be better than ever. Check for updates on Twitter and Facebook. So that actually is productive for people watching. If you're like, what's happening with DraftKings? This is what we used to have to do when we did the Madden Sims. We'd have to tell people, hey, go to Twitter, check the ops page, that kind of thing. So if you're like wondering what's going on, same goes for DraftKings.com right now too.
This whole episode of the Slate feels like a Madden Sim right now with how it's gone so far. With the internet issues and the game, it feels like the game just got paused.
Yeah.
We're telling people to chill out. That's what this whole episode feels like. Anyways.
Yes, very much so. Hey, speaking of backfields, I think this is actually worth a quick discussion. Our friend Raheem Mostert, speaking of Madden.
Yes, let's talk about Mostert because let's talk about some news. Mostert, yes.
Raheem Mostert. Remember him. Remember last year, Raheem Mostert was, I think he have like a 75-yard touchdown to begin the season, and then he got hurt again.
Yes.
Opening day, I'm pretty sure it was the first Sunday of the season. Raheem Mostert, 75 yards to the end zone. He went to Twitter today and said, "Good morning, everyone. Wanted to give you all an update. Your boy is cleared. It's go time." Okay, Raheem Mostert with the Miami Dolphins now. Crowded backfield. Former Patriots running back Sony Michel was in that backfield as well. Myles Gaskin returns, and then Chase Edmonds was also a pickup for them. So I'm assuming Mostert was with the head coach of the Dolphins in San Francisco. Perhaps
yes,
that's
Mike
why
McDaniels. Yeah, Mike McDaniel. Yep.
How would you approach it's using Mostert as a jumping off point, but the Dolphins bringing in Tyreek Hill, they've got Waddle, they're trying to be faster. Clearly, they're trying to be faster, make it easy, make it as easy as possible for Tua to have high percentage throws or run the ball a ton. How do you look at their backfield, maybe in a season-long situation?
Tua is setting up to be AFC Jimmy Garoppolo. He's and I mean he's just going to be throwing the ball to these high-end athletes, and it's going to be great for Tua. It's going to make it easy, and I think Tua probably. He's a little bit more mobile than Jimmy G. He's pretty accurate in the short game. I think he'll be fine in this offense. I think he's actually going to facilitate it well. And let's talk about the Dolphins for a sec, because let's start by talking about what they're going to do. They're going to run the ball more. Like it's weird. I'm weirdly bullish on their running backs. I don't mind Jalen Waddle. Especially like for fantasy purposes. I am completely out on Tyreek Hill this year. I think that his receiving touchdown prop, you take the under. That's still one of my favorite bets.
What was it, Jeff, again? 8.5?
Receiving touchdowns is his prop.
8.5, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is, to me, I love the under because he's got to compete with Gesicki. He's got to compete with Jalen Waddle, who's already got a great connection. You've got the running backs there. You've got a system where the coach is going to be implementing the Shanahan run scheme in a lot of the offense. It's happening. And now because he's been going out and collecting running backs all summer. And I think Raheem Mostert, and this is more like a fantasy or a best ball thing, but like if you're looking for a late round running back, maybe you're in a 14-man league or something. Maybe you're in a best ball and you're doing the zero best ball, zero RB best ball draft strategy, which I love. I don't think there's another running back on the board that you can get after, say, round 14 who has serious running back one potential in Raheem Mostert. I know he's got to climb the depth chart, but you look at the offense he's going to be in. You look at the explosiveness he has and his success that he's had in San Francisco with McDaniel, or just in a similar offense. I don't know, man. Like if Edmonds just stinks, or he just gets buried on the depth chart, or he just gets hurt, I think it's Edmonds and Mostert. Like I think those guys are the two most talented. And this could just be, maybe Chase Edmonds takes the ball and runs with it. I like Edmonds too, but Edmonds is going like 8 rounds in front of Mostert. So Mostert, you pick him up at the back end of your draft, you could just have a huge gem here. And yeah, I know he's like injury prone, and this will probably won't work, but as far as pure potential upside, like Mostert brings it. So it's really just more of like a fantasy thing. But from the betting perspective, you take that on the other side and you say, you want Tyreek Hill to go out there and like catch 9 or 10 touchdowns? I just don't think it's going to happen this year.
And if we're going to make,
as I've said, receiver who relies on his fast twitch muscles, you just got paid. When that hamstring gets a little sore this year, you think he's playing? No, he's going to sit a couple games. So,
yeah, fair enough. I mean, keep this in mind too. And you can't necessarily predict what I'm about to say, but if we're going to make the San Francisco comparisons, well, one thing Kyle Shanahan did a really good job of getting all the way to the NFC Championship game with Jimmy Garoppolo is the fact that they pivoted when guys went down. That backfield was hurt all of last year. Mitchell was in that rotation. Wilson. I mean, go down the list, right? I mean, Debo was their running back at points last year. I'm already forgetting who was their running back in the playoff game. Was it Mitchell? Was it Elijah Mitchell?
Yeah, it was Elijah Mitchell, 5th round running back.
Right.
Pick a rookie.
You started the year with Mostert. That was their guy. And they pivoted.
They started with Mostert, and then they pivoted to Mitchell. And, everyone thought it was going to be Trey Sermon. They took 2 running backs in the draft last year. Right. Like, again, that's the kind of system they're looking at, right? Like, they don't mind, like, Edmonds, maybe he gets 18 touches, but Mostert might take like 10 touches too. And that's why McDaniel wants these guys. And if one guy goes down, Mostert can come in and handle it. And maybe Sony Michel backs him up, or like Myles Gaskin, who's still there. But to me, from a talent perspective, like Edmonds and Mostert are the 2 guys. So with the most upside and the best talent. So if Mostert's going at like free in the 15th or 16th round, again, it's a fantasy thing, but we're a fantasy company too, not just betting. So I think it's something to take note of. And like I said, it does translate to the other side of the ball, where I think fading Tyreek Hill touchdown props makes a lot of sense.
We did talk a little bit about the Patriots.
What about should we talk about the Kyler contract?
We can. I just want to, someone has a question. Someone's on YouTube, and Jenna has popped in on YouTube. Patriots over under 9.5. Thank you guys. You are the best. I thought the number was 8.5. Moves to 9.5. I feel like the juice will be on the under.
If we could look up the odds right now,
I'm pretty sure it's 8.5 for the Patriots.
Oh no, it might be back up here. I think the sportsbook is back up.
They see that we're struggling with our program here. So
yeah, so I mean 9.5 for the Patriots for me. I just can't take the over.
We are back. The odds are back. Here we go. Beautiful.
The odds are definitely back. Let's just get those odds up, and then we'll regular season wins. Where are we at here?
Okay. Here we are. Production on the fly, ladies and gentlemen. We appreciate your patience. Maybe this is what did my internet in, is getting the screen share back up and trying to find the odds.
It's at 8.5 on DraftKings. It's at 8.5 on DraftKings. Yeah.
Yeah. 8.5 was the last I saw. And I'm pretty sure it's been 8.5 the whole time. But if you found a 9.5, I think an under is the lean there, I would think.
You go under 8.5, hey?
No, I would go under 9.5. But if it was 8.5, it's damn close, right?
I think I'll be dead. Yeah. I mean, I don't even know if it's that close for me. I mean, I would go over. I think that there's a couple factors. 9.5 is a different story, but you've got Mac Jones in his second year. You've still got like a good, system where they're going to be. They're pretty solid run team. Like their offensive line hasn't been trashed or anything like that. They lost a little bit on defense, I guess, with who's the guy who went to Chargers?
Oh, J.C. Jackson.
J.C. Jackson, sorry, just blanked there for a sec. But I mean, they've been pretty solid on that side of the ball. I don't think it's going to be a disaster or anything like that. I think that here's my take on the Patriots in this division. The reason I wouldn't take them at 9.5, but I would take them over at 8.5 is that they're not an elite team. I don't think that they're going to get a ton of wins over like the Buffaloes and things like that. But as much as cool as Miami is going to be this year, maybe is good for fantasy, it's still a rookie head coach going against Bill Belichick. It's still Tua at quarterback. And I also don't know how good that defense is going to be in Miami. Like there's two sides of the ball we're talking about here. So I think, and then the Jets. So I think it's still a pretty good division for the Patriots. Yeah, they're not the kings of it anymore, and the Bills aren't pushovers, but they did play them tough last year. And I think those games, like they could easily just go 3-1 against Miami and the Jets and just find, 6 wins somewhere else. It's not that tough. Like they don't have the division winners schedule. So yeah, I would lean over with the Patriots. I do kind of like Mac Jones a little bit.
Tough schedule, in my opinion.
Oh, we lost you again, bud. All right, we've lost Glasheen. I don't know what's going on with Glasheen, but yeah, Patriots odds are up.
It's doing so well. Here, I got you now. Maybe I don't.
You're kind of back.
Gonna lose my mind on this show. Gonna lose my mind. Okay. All right. Sorry, everybody. I'm melting down live. How many more minutes do we have? Can we wrap this up soon? When you're someone who doesn't have many issues, usually, and they do happen, you don't know how to do it or handle it. What were we talking about again? The Patriots win total. Okay, very good. Yeah,
I'm going over it now.
Close. Their first 4 games of the season, they have to play. Okay.
We're going to have to give us a schedule.
Look, like every other, Patriots play at Miami, at Pittsburgh to begin the year. So these first 4 to me are huge. They got to go 2-2, in my opinion. At Miami, at Pittsburgh, home Baltimore, at Green Bay. That's tough. That's a tough start to a season.
Is it tough? Like Pittsburgh and Miami are like average teams. Being home against Baltimore, I mean, I think that's a winnable game. I'm not saying like they
won with Cam Newton at home against Baltimore. That's true. They beat the Dolphins. They beat the Ravens on Sunday night when your Cam Newton started. I'm
not as high on the Ravens as other people either, but they're solid. They're the best of those 3 teams. And then obviously the Green Bay game. Green Bay may even have issues, but you're right. Like it's not like an easy start, but it's not terrible either. I mean, you're going to go Mitch Trubisky and Tua as your first 2 quarterbacks. The defense could just carry them through those 2 games, right? So
the Patriots, they have to get off to a good start. They can't do Belichick can't do his typical, all right, let's use September as an experiment and see what we look like. I'll give it to you like this. Their last 7 games of the season, these are the but you see, you don't like Kirk Cousins, but I'll leave him out of it. But their last 6 games of the season, the quarterbacks they play, this is a good transition. They play Josh Allen, at Kyler Murray, at Derek Carr, Joe Burrow. Maybe Miami has it figured out. Miami gives them trouble in Foxborough or in Miami at the end of the season, historically, with Brady, no Brady, and then at Buffalo again. You play Buffalo twice in the final month of the season. So,
yeah, that does kind of stink a little bit. But, I mean, Buffalo,
that's how they did it last year, Jeff. The Patriots, they played Buffalo. If you recall, they had the windstorm game. Was their first meeting of the year. And
they had a game they should have won against them too, though, right?
They did win that game.
Yeah, I'm thinking about the year before. Anyways, whatever. Yeah.
But,
I mean, that's kind of my point with the Patriots, though. Like, they actually play like good teams tough. Like they.
Yep.
So, I mean, I think that it's Bill Belichick. Like I said, he's got a rookie head coach and he's got the Jets for 4 games. And then, there's games out there with like the Steelers, there's winnable games. So I'll take the over. It's not my favorite win total, but like I'm solidly in the over camp on the Patriots.
Hey, here's the other thing. I mean, they're going to play Arizona December 12th. And by then Kyler Murray, he'll not only be studying 4 hours a game, he'll be studying 8 hours a game. Like his studying will be so good by December that's a tough game now. If you read today, everybody, Kyler Murray has built-in study hours into his contract for $230 million guaranteed. So
do you have a favorite? Do you have a favorite over-under prop?
Do I have a favorite over-under prop? It's not because it's right there, but I think it's very, very square or public, but the Lions to go over 6.5 wins, I feel like is more than doable, because that division overall, I think, is taking a step back. I think Minnesota will be better. They lost a lot of close games last year, but I like what the Lions are doing.
It's scary, isn't it? They're the most bet. That's like the most bet win line. But I mean, that's that like when we started doing these, talking about lines like a month and a half ago now, that's the one that I like the most too. And it's available plus money. And it's kind of been bet down to like where it's, it's like minus 115 now. I still like the 10 number on the Broncos. Like, obviously, if you can get a 9.5, that'd be amazing. But 10 for a push, I think Russell will get them 10 wins. And I will say this: probably my favorite team to go over on. Is that number even there? Oh, maybe it got taken off.
No, it's there. It's right here. Denver over 10 minus 120.
No, I'm talking about another team though. Where are they? San Francisco. Are they off the board? Maybe because of Garoppolo.
Oh, there they are. 10.
Yeah, that's my favorite team to go over on. They're right above the Broncos. I just missed them. Sorry. Duh. That's my favorite.
You are so in on San Francisco. I'm really curious.
I think 10 wins is their floor. I really do. I think Trey Lance will get them, potentially give them a chance to win more shootouts. I think that they'll still just crush some teams with their run game and their defense, and their schedule. It's not that bad. Like, it's not division winners. So great. Like, there's really nothing to fear here. I just feel like they're just being a little bit undervalued. Like, they're not being valued like a team that went to the conference championship last year and getting an upgraded quarterback this year. They're being valued as a team that's like, they're like okay, but they're not that good, which is, I think, ludicrous. Like, this is a team that went into Lambeau and beat the Packers. It's a team that was one scoring drive away from the Super Bowl with Jimmy Garoppolo at quarterback. Like, there's just nothing that's been like baked in there or anything. So I think that there's room. I think that the number is wrong. I think it should be 10.5 or bigger. So yeah, I think that over on the 49ers is probably my favorite one to take. There's a bunch of unders I'm kind of interested in. But I'm kind of going to wait and just see how things, pan out for some of these teams. The Titans is actually one of them, potentially to go under on. I'm not like super bullish on them this year, even though I loved them last year. Don't love them this year, but I'm going to kind of wait, see how training camp goes. The Cardinals also, interestingly enough, this team was at 8 and now they're at 8.5. So if we could get up to 9 with the Cardinals, I'd probably be under on them as well.
Half game for study hours.
That's right. And pretty much, yeah. Maybe we'll get the half game for the new study hours for Kyler. Anyways, I know this was not our usual like Emmy winning
show was hell,
broadcast.
Jeff. It was hell. It's okay to say.
Oh, and the other under I'll throw out as we're about to leave and end this mercifully is the Rams. If I'm going to take the over on San Francisco, taking the under on the Rams actually makes sense. Again, I think the Rams will make the playoffs, but like I think that it'll be more of like a wild card, like 9 or 10 win season. So.
All right, very good. That's going to do it today, everybody. Thanks for your patience. Actually, there was some good content in the show. It really actually bums me out. That's what makes it more frustrating, too. You're like, well, we have some good takes today, but it's getting all disrupted because of the internet. Indy Green Bay is the sim coming up. We will do baseball tomorrow on this show. Who knows what else we'll get to, but I'm not going to even tease it because I just want to make sure internet is fine by tomorrow. So time to get on the phone and, say things to people to get this figured out.
Need to get off Emerson's internet.
Yeah.
The Emernet.
Remember those days? Thanks to Eamon and Tom Pike behind the scenes for getting this all figured out and putting up with this. See you tomorrow. The Sweat's at 11 a.m. Eastern time. Watch it then, and we'll talk to you later in the afternoon. See you later.